Hello and welcome everyone, it's Shanna Makes It, and I have got the Festive Tales Kit. I've got my cards all planned out and in this little container, and we're just going to get started. Now here I'm using some of that white cardstock that was included in the kit. It is heavy duty and it makes for good card bases, so I'm going to use it for 2 card bases, and I've got the little clips that were included in the kit, just holding all my materials together. I've taken this die set. It's a nested tag set from Love From Lizi, and I have die cut out a tag out of the center of this, the deep red cardstock that was included in the kit. And I'm going to use the rest of it to create a base for my card. I like to make the most out of this cardstock because it is so heavy and so good, and I love the colors. And so I am going to, I just basically kind of get the center of it with my tag, and then we're going to lay the rest of it down on my card base. It's a little bit long, my card base is, and so I'm just going to trim it up, and then we're going to bring in our elements. So I have got some of that book paper that's got the holly on there, and we're going to use it for our panel. And I believe I've cut this down to 3 3/4 by 5. I wanted to show some of that red cardstock behind it and just frame it out real nice. And so I'm going to lay it down there on there. And we've got some of our pattern paper on there. And then my goal is, you can see I cut some of the ribbon off. I saved it enough to where I could have more for other cards. And then I brought in some twine, and I'm going to use the little book charm, and I'm going to thread it up on this thread here. So we've got our charm on this thread, and then I'm going to take it and tie it around our green ribbon that we've added to our tag, and we'll just tie it off, and it will hold our little charm on there, and then I'm going to create a bow with it. And this is just going to be our decorative element for our card. So we'll just get our bow on there and trim it up. And you can just use any twine or whatever you've got that's small enough to go through the charm. That's what I did. I just grabbed something out of my stash. So I'm going to kind of lay my tag on here on the diagonal, and we're just going to add this book with some more of that, I guess, Christmas greenery on there, and it's got a ribbon on there. And it's going to be just kind of a simple card. I really loved the pattern paper and then this piece of ephemera, so I thought I'm just going to kind of let it be the star of the show on this. And I love that deep dark red, just really pretty. So we'll pop up the tag and the ephemera and just add some dimension. We're just going to get it laid down on there, and I think it looks really pretty. I think that light book pops off that dark red. Okay, so we've got some space on there for a sentiment or something, so I'm going to go and find a sentiment. I did go ahead and stamp and heat emboss all of the sentiments, and I'm bringing in between the pages of a book is a wonderful place to be. And I'm going to lay that down on there, and I think that's a really pretty sentiment for this card. And we actually have some floral elements between the pages of our book. And so we're just going to move on to our next card. And I've got everything laid out there, and I just kind of positioned everything kind of how I wanted it. And we're just going to start building our card. So I had this scrap of the book pages that actually came off of the first one, and I wanted to make good use of the scrap. So I'm going to bring in another one of those deep red pieces of cardstock that I've cut into A2 size panels. When I get my cardstock in for my Love From Lizi kits, I just automatically cut it down to A2 size so that I have it ready for my card making. And then I can cut it down further from there. I can die cut from it or stamp on it or whatever. But I usually, start off by cutting it down to A2 panel sizes. And that is just how I manage my kits. So I am taking some of that matte gold specialty cardstock, and I'm going to lay these books down on it, and we'll have a nice little edge of gold on both sides of this paper. And it'll just kind of help to fill up our A2 size card since we are just using a strip. And I think it looks really pretty and elegant with the gold on there. So we're just going to take, and we're going to kind of offset it a little bit. I started gluing up the back of that, and then I realized I wanted to put the corner pieces on this, so I'm going to hold it so the glue doesn't get everywhere. I'm grabbing, I thought I had some needle nose pliers, but I didn't. I've got some snips here, and I'm just going to press lightly and just press them into the corners of my strip there, and then we'll have these on there, and they actually pressed on there very nice. Even though I didn't have my needle nose pliers, it worked quite well, and I was able to kind of clamp them on my corners. You can see they're on there. Good. And so we're just going to do all 4 corners. And I think it makes the card look rich with the gold corner pieces on there. So just giving it a little pinch. And now I'm going to add glue again because my glue kind of dried up while I was sitting there doing that. And then we're going to put it kind of off to the side on this panel and get it laid down on there. Now in the green, I've taken some of the green cardstock, and I just took that stamp that had the chair with the coffee cup and the book and the blanket, and I just stamped it and I heat embossed it, and we're just going to have a green chair as our element on this. I think this could be a nice masculine card, actually, with the elements that are on there. And then for the sentiment on this one, I chose "You're literally the best," is what it says. Literally the best. And we'll just get it laid down on there. I'm going to glue it up. I had grabbed the little baubles that are included in the little bag there and laid them aside. I thought I was going to use them, but I actually decide to use some of the bigger gems on there. So I'm going to bring those in as well. And we're going to grab the ones that kind of have the red hue to them, and I'm going to put them on this card. And it'll just add some sparkle and shine to it. So we've got some fun elements on this card using those corner pieces, and then the gems, and then, you know, the stamped chair. I think it's a cool card, a little bit different. I'm trying to use a variety of the products that are included in the kit just to give you a real flavor for, you know, how you can use some of the different elements on your card. So I hope you enjoy, you know, kind of seeing some of the different takes that I had for these cards. So that'll finish off our second card, and we're going to move right on to our third card. Now for this one, I've got some of the ephemera that came in the kit, and I've got one of the critters from the add-on, and we're going to use it. And we're also going to use a strip of paper that I had left over from a card that I made during my unboxing. And that is this kind of, I don't know, it's like a zigzag pattern paper. And I just have a small strip there. And I'm going to layer it up on our cream colored paper, cardstock, after I drop it and get glue all over everything. And we'll just layer it up, and we're going to get it laid down on our dark green card base. And I love the reds and the greens and the gold and everything that is in this kit. Super fun. So this was 6 inches, and I only need 5.5. So I'm going to cut off the bottom of it, and then we're going to get it laid down on our card panel. And I'm going to offset it again to the left. I've got a left offset going on today on all of my cards. And I think it's really pretty. I just like that pattern paper. I think in and of itself, it looks, you know, really good on the card base. Now for this, I'm going to bring in the gold glitter pill-offs, and I'm going to just add a little extra pizzazz to it. And I'm just going to use 2 of the larger pieces of the pill-offs and get them laid down on there. And I'm noticing that looks crooked, so I'm going to try and straighten it up a little bit. And I pulled the whole thing off, so we'll lay it down again and try to get it lined up to where I'm satisfied with it. There we go. And then we'll take our other one, and we're gonna lay it down on the other side as well. And now we've kind of filled up a little bit more of our A2 size panels there. And then we're ready to add our ephemera, which I think is super cute. I had originally thought I would put that bear on there. And then I saw the lamp, and I thought it'd be fun to have the lamp and the table with the books and the candle behind, almost like he's sitting in front of it, and he's got the light so that he can read the book. And I thought they looked cute paired together. And it's also an excellent representation of how the two packets of ephemera are color coordinated so much that they absolutely look like they go together, which they do. It's fantastic. So I'm looking at those little gems and I'm thinking, I need to use some of those. So I'm going to grab my triangle tray and get some poured out, and we'll use those. Actually, I couldn't find my triangle tray, so I grabbed the square one. I'm just going to put some glue on here, and we're going to lay some of those. I don't know, these are like, they look like teardrop beads is what they look like. And you've got multiple colors. I'm going to use the golden colors or the yellow, whatever, and use them because I've got the gold pill-offs on there, and I just think it'll kind of tie everything together. I'm cleaning up glue around there. I got a little bit too much glue on there when I laid that one down, so I'm going to get it cleaned up. And then I'm going to try to not put as much glue when I lay the other two down. So we're going to put 3 of those on there. And looking back, I think it would have been fun if I'd have used multiple colors on there, but I was kind of sticking with that gold theme I had going on this card. But I think it could look really pretty with some of the various colors sprinkled around there together as well. And so far we've used, our book charm, we've used our corner pieces, we've used our circle embellishments, and we've used our teardrop embellishments, and we have used ephemera from both of the packets, and then also one of our stamped images. So I'm just trying to represent the kit fairly well with these cards. So we're going to move on to the next one. And this next one, this pattern paper is lovely. It all is. I'm going to bring in the red glitter that is part of the add-on that you can add on. And we're going to lay this down on our card base. And then this pattern paper has got the presents, the holly, the berries, and the sprigs on it. And it is just lovely. The colors, oh, I just love them. They're kind of almost vintage or a little muted, and just really soft and very pretty. I really like it. So I'm going to get this laid down to where we've got a little bit of our glitter hiding behind there. And we're going to bring in our green, I don't know, velvet snowflakes, or they kind of look velvety. And I'm just going to trim it up, and we're going to glue it down on here, and we're going to let this be our embellishment for this card. We're going to keep this card simple as well. So I'm just getting some glue on all the little sprigs, and we'll get it laid down on there. And I'm making sure I get it covered. I wasn't sure how well it would lay down on there, so I want to make sure I get plenty of glue, but it lays down very nice, and it adheres very nicely. I'm just giving it a good little press with my hands. And then I have got a piece of the ephemera, the pack that came with the kit, not the add-on, and it's got the club chair with a blanket and a pillow and the bookcase behind it, and we've got a wreath and some swags on our curtain. It's just a cozy, cozy scene. And this could just be a little note card of any, a thank you card for maybe a Christmas gift that you got or something like that, because I'm not going to put a sentiment on this one, and I think it looks pretty. So we're going to bring in our 5th and final card, and I'm using another little strip that I had left, and I've cut it down, and I'm going to use that green specialty paper that is the add-on, and it's got a nice little texture to it and a little sheen to it. And I'm just going to mat the, this is actually the gift boxes is what's on this pattern paper, and they're all wrapped beautifully with bows. And we're going to lay it down on there. And then I've got our snow globe that has the books and the ribbon and the Christmas tree. And we're going to pop it up on here, and it's going to be our focal point. And we'll just get it laid down on there. Now you could certainly bring in some of your Christmas sentiments and add them to this paper and this kit and really make some beautiful Christmas cards as well. The Stampin' die set, is all kind of book themed, but I could certainly see bringing in some Christmas greetings and adding them to this set, to this kit, and just turning out some gorgeous Christmas cards because this is beautiful. So here I'm going to use the, I don't know, teal, green, blue, little floral embellishments, and we're going to lay them down and kind of fill up some of the open spaces we've got there. And then that will pretty much finish off our card. I am going to bring in a sentiment, and the sentiment that I choose for this one says, I do love nothing in the world so well as you. And what a wonderful sentiment that is. I think it's really pretty. And we'll just get that laid down on there. And then that'll finish up our 5 cards. I'm going to clean up my desk and we'll take a look at them. So we've got our tag card, and we've got our ribbon and our charm. We have got our 4 corners card with our stamped chair. We've got our critter card, super cute. And then we've got our scene card and our snow globe. And I think they all turned out beautiful. I appreciate you watching. I hope you have a great day. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.